Alright guys, I'm going to go through all the chords with you and kind of explain the way to kind of tell what chord you're playing, even if you don't memorize all the chords, because you don't need to learn them all. First thing you need to do, if you're new to this at least, I would recommend you take your guitar and tune it to E flat. Just hit the flat button on your tuner one time, tune all the strings down a half a step. That makes it a little easier to push the strings down, and when you get to where you can do it without that muted sound, if you're covering the strings up, then you tune it up and get where you can play it in standard. Okay, so first thing I'll do is just kind of explain the notes on the guitar neck. If you're looking at the strings, I call this the sixth string, the top string, the heaviest note. It's an E. So we got E, A, D, G, B, and E. Okay, so that'd be the first string E. Okay, so 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. E and F are a half step apart, so there's no such thing as a F flat or an E sharp. So if I want to go from E to F, it's just open to first fret on the E string. And it's the same way for B to C. So up here, this is the 7th fret E string, that's a B note. If I want to go from B to C, it's just one fret. Everything else is a full step away from each other, or 2 frets away. So if I want to go from F to G, F to G, G's on the 3rd fret here. A is on the 5th, B is on the 7th, C is on the 8th, D is on the 10th, and then it starts over at E on the 12th. Everything starts over on the 12th fret right there. Alright, so the 5th fret is an A, but you also got the open A strings, the same note. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, so this string's the same as that string. Alright? So knowing that helps you kind of figure out, because those would be the root notes that you play of all these chords. So the first thing, you look at it like an open E chord. So open, second, second, first, open, open, as you go down. Open, second, second, first, open, open. That's your standard E position. If you just imagine me taking that and moving it up the guitar, you can play that same position anywhere. You just have to bar right behind the position. So instead of these 3 fingers playing the E chord, you want to let these 3 fingers play the E chord, and you just bar the rest of them. So I would suggest you get out in front of the neck a little bit when you're doing this. You're going to be tempted to kind of let your wrist help you hold it down, but then you're going to just mute all the strings. So just use your thumb to hold them down and get out in front of the guitar a little bit. So if I'm playing the G root note right there with my index finger, that's the G note, right? And then that's a G chord. Okay? Same for an A chord or B chord. It's all the same. Okay? And you look at the open A chord. Open, 2, 2, 2, open. Most people play it with these 3 fingers here. I don't. I play it with that because you can slide this up anywhere. Don't play the top string. Your root note will be on the A string now. So if I want to play a C chord, there's a C chord. Okay, so that's just 3, 5, 5, 5, 3. Okay, most people will just bar it like that and not play the bottom string, but that's not the full chord. But I do that. That's your C chord. Alright, and those are the 2 main positions, but just so you know, you got the D chord, which is just open. You don't play the top 2 strings here. It's just open, 2, 3, 2. Just the bottom 4 strings. And you can slide that up anywhere, but it's really hard to do the full chord if you wanted to play like a, this would be an F in that D positioning. This would be an F chord. It's really hard to do that. So what a lot of people do if they want to do that is just pick certain places on the guitar. Like if I just put the, my fingers down right here, this is an A note, and then I can play the A string, and that's okay to do because D is part of the key of A, right? Alright, so the other open chords, G would be 3, 2, open, open, 3, 3. I usually mute this second string here, I don't even hold it down. Just gives it a little bit more of a pure G tone. C would be, don't play the top string, 3 on the A string, 2, 0, 1, 0. It's a C chord. And you know, F, that's just a bar chord, and B, that's a bar chord. Okay, so there are no open B chords. There's a way to play a B7, and I'll get that in just a second. So the other thing I just want you to notice is when you want to go from major chords, those are all major chords, to minor or seventh. It's really that you're doing the same thing no matter what chord you're playing. Say I want a minor chord, well if I play E, whatever the last, going down here, whatever the bottom most string you're actually touching, go down a half a step or 1 fret. Go down 1 fret. So in this case, since it's an E, it's that G string. Go down a fret, I just pick it up, play it open, that's an E minor. Okay, same for the A, whatever the last string you're touching, in this case it's the 2nd fret on the B string. If I want to go to an A minor, I take that down half a step to that C note right there, 1st fret B string, and that's an A minor chord. Alright, same for a D chord. If you're playing the D, it's that F sharp note on that bottom string. I'm going to take that down to the F and play the D this way. That's a D minor. Okay? And it would be the same for the bar chord. So you ignore the bar here. So if I'm looking at like an A and I want to play an A minor, I just pick this middle finger up. There's your A minor. Alright, same for like if I want to play a C minor, here's your C. Well, it would be the 5th fret on your pinky finger there on that B string. If I move that down 1, I'm going to have to do that with my middle finger. So it'd be 4th fret B string, and then 5th fret, 5th fret G and D strings, and get a C minor chord. Okay? So very easy to tell what chord you're playing if you remember that. And the same goes for these, what we call 7th chords. Only instead of the bottom finger or the bottommost string that you're actually touching, it'll be the one above that. It'll be the next to the bottom string that you're touching. So if it's an E chord, you take your ring finger and just pull it up and play that D open, and that's an E7. Okay, and since that's an E note that we kind of added in there, there's another E note right here on the 3rd fret on the B string. So if you put your pinky down there, that's an E7. I just added 2 D notes to it instead of 1. You'll see that a lot of times on the open chords. And then like A minor 7, you can do the same thing. So you know, play the A minor, pick up the middle one, that's A minor 7, and since I'm adding a G note right there, that open G, there's another G note on the 3rd fret of the bottom string, so here's an A minor 7. Same goes for bar chords. Here's an A major, pick up your pinky finger this time, and that's an A7. Okay, and again you could play it down here on the B string of the 8th fret. That's another way to play a 7th chord. Alright, so a lot of good things you can do if you want to change it up. You know, so you don't want to play a major all the time. Mix it up and go to some 7th notes or some you know, minor kind of changes the key, but 7th chords you can kind of get away with just playing those, you know, even with the major ones. Alright, so some exercises I would get into the habit of doing every time you come across a new chord that you're not used to. First thing is just play all the notes. Just go down one at a time until you're playing all of them and all of them are ringing and you're not muting any of them. And so there's an E. When you start doing these bar chords, make sure all of them are sounding. Okay? And then it's just a matter of getting to where you can change chords quickly and fluidly without having it sound funny. So the best advice I can give you there is take any chord you want, play it, pick it up, play it open, put it right back down. And when you can do that and you hear the chord every time you put your fingers down, you're probably ready to start switching chords. So the ones that you want to try to put together are like E, A, B, E, A, D. Throw in some F sharp in there every now and then. Then the other set would be G, C, D, and then the E minor and A minor chords go really well with that. And if you ever wonder what could go well with one another, if you kind of look at the bar chords, you'll be able to tell. So that last batch I said C, or G, C, D, E minor, and A minor, right? Well, if you look up here, here's your E minor bar chord. 2 frets down, you can play the D major chord. 2 frets more, the C chord, C major, and then the G major, not power chord, but the full bar chord. And if you go up 2 frets, there's A minor. So that's a really common pattern, and you can change your key no matter what with that same pattern. So here it is again, E minor, D, C, G, A minor. So I'm just going to take everything and I'm just going to change it. Instead of being in the key of E minor, I'm going to go to D minor here. Okay? And then the other really common one would be A, B, E. Okay, and then you would mix in kind of an F sharp there. Alright, maybe even a like a G minor. Alright, so those are really common chords that are put together a lot. And you know, of course, you got, you know, the power chords are not barred at all, but it's the same notes you're playing. You're just playing the top 3 of these bar chords, or just the top 2 even. You know, a lot of blues will just sort of just use that bar chord positioning, but then you're only playing 2 of them. Okay, so you can do a lot of stuff with that. In each chord, by the way, a chord is just a collection of notes that happen to be in that scale. So if you're looking for E major chord, all of these notes are in the E major scale. More on scales coming up at another time. So, you know, I would get into the habit of changing up chords frequently, just practicing, making sure that your hand is learning that muscle memory. That way you don't have to think about it so much when you're playing. You can just listen more to the rhythm of these songs, and that's what you need to play guitar, really, is the rhythm. Alright, so if you have any questions, let me know. I know I went through that kind of fast. Pause it a lot. Practice all those chords. Make sure that you understand what a minor chord is, or what a 7th chord is, and you know, just about every song is going to fall into one of those categories. You know, you get a lot of hybrid chords where they're adding notes here and there, but really it's all based off of what I just showed you. So have fun with that. Good luck. Fight through the cramps, okay? If you got the short, fat fingers, it's going to be harder for you to do it. The longer your fingers are, the easier it is to play guitar, but the good news is there's a lot of people that are really good at guitar that have short, fat fingers. Okay, so there's always a way to do it. You know, one thing I would say, you know, just play the roots. Just play the root chords. So if you got an A bar chord and you can't get that bar to work, just bar the bottom 2 strings. Play the other 2. So it's 5th fret bottom 2, 6th fret G string, 7th fret D string, and just play the bottom 4. Okay, so you can get the same sound. It's just a little cheat. You never have to play the full chord anyways. I mean, if you're playing electric guitar, I rarely ever play more than 3 or 4 strings at the same time, if it's distorted at least. Okay? Alright, so ask questions. Good luck with all that. I know I went kind of speedy through all that stuff, so have fun.